Got me thinking out loud. But I'm a dreamer. Got me thinking out loud. Believe it. I believe. Coke, go ahead and see my flow, go with any beat. I can make any dream manifest. I believe I had the best album back in 19. This is just what I think. I believe Owen was better than Brett. And producer high tech don't get his respect. I believe in the spiritual, not just in the flesh. And the day I met DJ Head, I was blessed. I believe that Mace's Harlem World is a classic overlooked. Mike Vick was a target over that shit, throw the book. And Busta Rhymes touch it, ain't nobody know the hook. Michael Jackson had time, I told her shook. I believe in marriage and earning for the fam. I believe in independence over working for the man. I believe health insurance is a scam. I believe you better have some health insurance in this land. Got me daydreaming. This is just what I think. Got me thinking out loud. Got me thinking out loud. I believe in youth. Gotta let it live. I believe it's okay to have faith and question it. And I did a bunch of shit I should have never did. You should treat your friends as kid. When I was just a kid, I believed in Michael Myers more so than Jason, more so than Freddy. I believe I put music out before I was ready. I really needed help. Super MC said, "Valid, just be yourself." I believe that me and Tree were truly meant to meet. But I don't know if me and her are truly meant to be. I know we really love each other and it's far from fair. It kills me every day, that's my cross to bear. I believe in some conspiracies, couple that I don't. I believe that someone near to me is coming for my throat. I don't know, maybe it's just the paranoia. Couple thoughts in my mind, thought I'd share them for you. Got me daydreaming. This is just what I think. Got me thinking out loud. But I'm a dreamer. Got me thinking out loud. I believe in reparations for those who got charged for marijuana. And they should have the first drugs owner. Industry built on weed as recreation. It's the haves versus the have-nots. I see the separation. I believe the blueprint was Hova at his dopest. And the third generation Range Rover was the coldest. I believe the Pistons should have went back to back. 05 shit was rigged and I ain't having that. I believe I'ma quit my job before long. I believe my pen is the most slept on. I believe you can't agree with every word in this song, cause I believe my beliefs could very well be wrong. I believe that I owe so much to the fans. I don't really know if this is luck or it's planned. When I have my shows, they come and know the lyrics. I believe in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Got me daydreaming. This is just what I think. Got me thinking out loud. But I'm a dreamer. Got me thinking out loud. Believe. Yo, there you have it, guys. That was valid right there. So, my name is Katie K, and I'm going to introduce to you. Oh, no, we do not want the Joe Budden podcast to come on, but it wants to come on its own damn self. Not today, Joe, not today. So, without further ado, motherfuckers, happy Thursday, everyone. We have gathered here for the show of all shows. You waited all week for this, guys. Every motherfucking Thursday. The Mufasa of the motherfucking New Jersey rap game. The one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Ray Pearson, everyone.
Yo, that was hilarious. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm reporting live from the Mohegan Sun with $200 in my pocket. Welcome! We back! It's Thursday, and you already know what it is. Quarantine and rap. Where we talk hip hop, where we talk music, and where we talk about my brand new Pornhub account. Hey!
So let's
Anyway,
talk. Okay, all
okay.
right. Before we bring the guest in,
What's
because
up, kid?
I'm missing Grey's Anatomy tonight and Law and Order, so fuck you. But shout out,
Stable!
we getting our stapler back tonight, boys. About motherfucking damn time.
Fingers crossed.
So,
Stable back.
we here. Salute to everyone on the check-in. We got Farron Watson. Hello.
What up,
Um,
what up?
shout out to everyone in the building. But before anything, we need to show a special hello to Adila's Food Services right over here. Get your pre-order 2 for $50 on seafood boils. If not, you're a fucking dub.
Hey,
Um, so like I was saying, right, Ray Pearson is such a hoe, and then I need Ray Pearson to go. How much of a hoe is he?
how much of a
So
hoe am I?
okay, this is the only man I know that'll make an OnlyFans and then go on his X videos. Come to find out that at the last minute, the last at the 30-second buzzer, homie got 64,000 views on his music video as tactical. Clap it up, motherfuckers! Clap it up.
Don't play with me. We out here getting numbers.
So can you tell us now? Let me give you that round of applause because 64,000 streams on any platform is hard.
Hey, hard. Hey, be professional, Katie. There's kids watching.
I can't be professional knowing who's in the backstage, man. His name's on my titties. Um, we got Valid in the building today, so no, I will not behave myself. Um, but congratulations on 64,000 streams. But please do tell the audience what you labeled radio under on your new Pornhub account.
Oh wow. Thank you first and foremost. American people on Pornhub, the title reads Trump supporter swallows BBC. Ladies and gentlemen, we getting the numbers up. We're getting the numbers up. But for those who don't know, radio is on X videos too. And the title for that is Big Booty Latina Square 7 times. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting numbers up one platform at a time. We are getting it on every God given platform. I am not out here playing. We are faking the funk to get the numbers up. So if you think you're about to watch a threesome, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to hear these bars. Well, there goes your blue balls. Hey, don't play with me. It's getting dangerous out here, ladies and gentlemen. Ray Pearson will be known one way or another. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Anyways, um, welcome
Yo, we
back,
should do
ladies and
comedy
gentlemen.
together.
Hey, I mean, I'm not funny. Um,
Hilarious. The fuck you talking about, guy?
let's not make too much noise. I don't want the neighbors in the other hotel room to bang on the wall. Ladies
To
and
the
gentlemen,
far zone. Hey.
welcome to Quarantine and Rap. We are in November. We are at the end of the year, aka the fourth quarter. The
And
fourth
the first
quarter,
season.
we are getting to the beginning of a brand new year. And it's so crazy how time flew with this pandemic, but we are getting there. So, you know what I mean?
I think you should tell them though, Ray. You should tell them that the ending of season one of Quarantine and Raps is coming.
Um, yes, yes, we are.
We're taking a break.
Yes, we are. We're gonna go. We're gonna go put a Sun video playing on YouTube. We're gonna stand in front of the TV and hope that we get a tan because we can't travel because the world's gone crazy and pandemic is kicking our asses. COVID is out. COVID is taking lives out here. So the go home episode for Quarantine and Rap will be announced soon. Just trying to get you guys a good name. I have someone in mind, but I gotta reach out.
Make
But
sure
other
you
than that,
make sure you got a budget.
oh man, don't play with me. $200. Um, other than that, we about to get into some dope shit tonight. Everybody else that I brought as a guest on Quarantine and Rap, with the exception of LP from the Eargasm, have mainly been East Coast based, New York or New Jersey based. But tonight is a little different. Tonight is a little different. And sometimes it's almost like when you're looking for something, because it happens to me, you come across something that resembles what you're actually looking for. So I always saw that as a sign, like, yo, I'm about to find it. Tonight is a sign. Tonight I have Valid from Detroit joining me here on Quarantine and Rap. You already know I've mentioned it many times. I don't like the traditional format of interviews. Though I have my questions, sometimes I like to pick shit out of what people say to create more off of that, but it all eventually ties to something that I already have prepped. Um, so, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's bring the guest in the building.
Yeah. What up, though, man?
Yeah,
What's up,
ladies
Ivy?
and
What's up,
gentlemen,
Ray Pearson? What up,
Hey
though?
boo.
Dilly, what's the dilly? Yo,
What up?
man, please introduce yourself to the people. Let them know where you're from.
My name is Valid. I'm a hip hop artist from the Metro Detroit area. I do my thing, man. My name's Valid, and if you like that real shit, that soulful shit, that hip hop shit you feel in your gut, in your soul, that's the type of shit that I like too, and that's the type of shit I like to make. So check your man's out.
Word. Yo, who are some of your musical influences growing up or along your journey?
Um, on some hip hop shit, the type of shit I kind of gravitate to the most was always like some uh Common, Most Def, Slum Village. Um, but I mean that's like that little subgroup right there. But I truly love everything. But my favorite MCs is probably like Redman. You know what I'm saying? Redman is one of the goats. Uh, Royce the 5'9" from here from Detroit is dope. M is dope. There's so many of them, man. Talib Kweli, I already mentioned Common. Black Thought, The Roots, classic.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit. But probably my all time biggest influence, I would say, maybe and I think probably the most influential rapper of all time, in my humble opinion, is Slick Rick. I think Slick Rick is, if he ain't the GOAT, then he's the most influential, and whoever is the GOAT was heavily influenced by Slick Rick. You know what I'm saying?
word. And yo, coming from Detroit, right?
Right?
Like, what is the actual hip hop culture like out there?
It's
For those
beautiful,
for
man.
those who don't know,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last question you asked.
yeah, for those who are unaware of like what the
Oh,
hip hop
okay.
culture is like out there, what is it?
It's really big and it's very small at the same time. Like all these classic Detroit hip hop names, when you start saying D12, Royce, M, Slum Village, Trick, the list goes on and on. They all kind of like know each other. You know what I'm saying? It's all the same family tree from the hip hop shop, Lush Lounge, Ebony Showcase. That was before I started coming around. But even to today's time, it's still that family tree. We all still know each other. Me, Boldy James, Apollo Brown, Marv One, the Fat Killers, Elzai. You know what I'm saying? It's all kind of connected, and it's even connected. Like the names I'm mentioning is kind of the more boom bap backpack, hip hop shit. While even like the street cats, like the Dusty McFlies of the world and the Icewear Vezos and that whole scene, that more like, street trap, whatever the fuck you want to call it scene, is all very intertwined. You know what I'm saying? And I feel very blessed to have parents that moved from the old country to Detroit. And, I wouldn't change it if I could because working with DJ Head, working with Alzai, working with these names that influenced me growing up, it's been a giant blessing. So the Detroit hip hop culture is beautiful from A to Z. We got the B-boys, we got the the writers, the MCs, the DJs. It's a big yet small community. A lot of us, but we all know each other. You know what I'm saying? It's a village.
And with like all them names that you mentioned, do you feel like as an artist yourself, do you feel like you got to step it up 50 times more as an MC?
Yeah, that's a delicate balance. Because that's mixed feelings. Because yeah, when I listen to Royce, and I don't feel that I'm being biased when I say this, like hip hop says he's one of the best lyricists of our time, of our generation. You know what I'm saying? Like he's that much of a mad scientist when it comes to the syllable, the wordplay, the cadences, and the flow. So when I hear cats like Royce, Elzai, also world-renowned bar for bar spitter, Eminem, you know what I'm saying? All these guys have a giant reputation for being like scientists with the syllables and the wordplay and the metaphors and the similes and all that shit. And it's like it's so heavy here in Detroit to be that bar spitter that even if you aren't even like marketed as that type of like boom bap backpack rapper, even our street cats like could rap their ass off. Like even our MCs that aren't even like packaged or even promote themselves as lyricists or MCs are motherfucking like real dope lyricists. It's just something that how we do shit here. So yeah, absolutely. There's that pressure, but then at the same time, what I've said by delicate balance is when you make art, I don't believe that you should be making art to for any other reason than art's sake. So you felt it sounded dope to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a delicate balance of pleasing yourself and but you also want to be impressive. It's a fine line that you don't want to go one side so much because there's sometimes I see it to the extreme where it's like, yo, dog, you are a dope lyricist and your bars is fucking phenomenal, but that doesn't necessarily mean the song is good. You see what I'm saying? So there's a delicate balance that you have to it's a tightrope that you want to walk. You want to be dope, you want to be the baddest MC in the world, but then at the same time you want to make sure that the shit that you felt the shit. You know what I mean? And so it's a delicate balance. But yeah, absolutely. In the D, it's just like that bar is set high. Absolutely.
And with like big moments, like 8 Mile and Detroit versus Everybody, and even the latest Friday Night Cipher off of Big Sean's album. Like
Yeah.
as an artist coming from the D, like how much does that inspire you? Or when you came across these things, like what was your reaction to it?
There's definitely like hometown pride. Like that Detroit 2 album, Big Sean, I was literally before this interview, I was talking to my homie and we were just talking about some of the dope albums that came out this year during this quarantine shit. And we were talking about like the Griselda shit, talking about the new Busta Rhymes shit that I love. And that Detroit 2, man, Big Sean came with it. Track for track. I was just see, like Big Sean is a perfect example of that, where he's not promoted as like an MC, like a Black Thought is, or Royce is, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? but he is an MC. Like when you listen to his bars and his verses, he doing that lyrical miracle shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he just ain't presented in that light. But that's that Detroit shit. You know, in my opinion, that's just that Detroit shit. But when I see those moments, pride, bro. You know what I'm saying? I've never been one of these guys to, because I'm sure it's like this everywhere in every city. You're gonna have a couple salty motherfuckers that start
Oh
talking shit. How come I wasn't on that joint? How come this?
yeah.
I've never I've never wanted to be I never wanted to be at a party I wasn't invited to. You know what I'm saying? And I don't take it like it's just I don't I don't see shit like that. And there's a couple motherfuckers that do see shit like that. And it kind of hurt my soul when I saw a couple cats with a little bit of clout in Detroit that take the time to say that wasn't done right. To say, oh, he had everybody on the album except for this guy. And it's just like, dog, that's Big Sean's song. He had more rappers. He recorded more verses from even more Detroit rappers. But the song was already motherfucking 10 minutes long, dog. So it's
Yeah.
like, at the end of the day, dog, I support everybody from the D. I never, even motherfuckers that done pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? I'll never come on a platform publicly. It's like your cousin, your brother, you know what I'm saying, or some shit like that. You may beef out with them, but you keep that shit behind closed doors. You see what I'm saying? I'm not about to go on Facebook and shit on my own brother or my own cousin with my same last name, because now that's whack. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
If I have a problem with another Detroit artist, if I can't get a hold of them or something like that, when I see you, I see you. We're gonna talk like men. But no matter how mad I am at you, I'm not going to shit on my flag. As simple as that.
That's what's
So
up, man. I wish a lot of pull up. I wish a lot of people fucking heard that because that's how I am with people. It's like, yo, like some things are better left dealing with in private, because if it gets dealt with in private, nobody will ever have to know there was ever anything, because I'm a private person in that matter.
Exactly. And then let's say, somebody did some fuck shit to you and you mad at them and you go on Facebook or you go on Twitter and you rant and you rave, blah blah blah, blah, and you call them everything out the book. Okay. And then when you see them, either A, it's a misunderstanding, or B, they fess up and they say, I fucked up. I was on some fuck shit. I'm sorry. Or whatever the fuck. And you accept that apology. Now, what you look like 5 days later, hugged up with your man's, yo, we cool again. So that means everything you just said 5 minutes ago didn't mean shit. It's
Right.
you shoot yourself in the foot like that. Nobody need to know. You know what I'm saying? Nobody need to know everything, dog. And it's just like I love Detroit hip hop to the smallest fiber of my being. And any Detroit hip hop artist, even if I'm not the biggest fan of their music or whatever the fuck, I'll never go up here and say, "Oh, they whack. They shouldn't have gotten that deal or that rub or whatever the fuck they got." That ain't my style, dog. I love everybody. I want everybody to eat. You can feed your family. You can feed yourself. Do it.
so wait,
Right.
Valid, you're telling me, right? So personally, because I know for a fact me and Ray talked about the Friday night cipher.
Sure.
Um, like we really talked about it. Because Ray is I don't want to say he's a battle rapper because he's not, and he's not a cipher rapper because he's not, but he does indulge in ciphers, right?
Okay.
Uh, so we were talking about who did they really comp one other than the mere fact
Who
that
was
they
the
all
dopest?
well no, because if we're gonna do that, it was fucking M and Royce. Like let's not do that. Let's not fucking do that. It was
Okay.
M and Royce stole the whole fucking shit, my guy. Hold on.
Okay. Okay.
No, no, because also Shorty got busy. I keep forgetting her name. She got
Doja
busy.
Cat.
No,
No, not Doja Cat.
no.
Cash Doll.
Yeah,
Cash.
she got busy.
Cash Doll, dope.
So if you had to take away a Detroit rapper, right, or two, without saying you're gonna put yourself in, who would you put in that cipher? Because not all of them really popped with it.
I'm not taking anybody off the list. I'm not taking it. That's not my song. That's Big Sean's song. And like I said, it kind of goes back to the last thing I said. There's no like I ain't gonna come out here and say XYZ shouldn't have been on that song. They all should have been on that song. You know why? Because Sean thought they should have been on that song. Simple as that. Now, if you're asking me who would have I loved to also hear on it, I would have loved to hear Trick on it. I would have loved to have heard Elzai on it. I would have loved to have heard a lot of the more hip hop cats, the Guilties, the Fat Cats, Guilty Simpson, Fat Cat. Absolutely. Ty Ferris, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? I love all these guys. I can come up with a million names I would have also have loved to have seen on Big Sean's album, one of the biggest rappers of our time, to see on that shit, on some Detroit shit. Shit, I'll put Valid on that list. I would have loved to have been on there, but I ain't gonna take nobody off. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna do that.
What is a big misconception people have of the Detroit hip hop scene?
I think maybe a misconception that people might have of the Detroit hip hop scene. I think when people hear Detroit hip hop, unless they're a genuine, like real hip hop head and they know the shit, probably to your average hip hop listener, music listener, when they hear Detroit hip hop, they probably automatically think like 8 Mile, Battles, and you know what I'm saying, Eminem,
Yeah,
and
seems
that's
legit.
dope because that's a real part of it. Like the motherfuckers was battling. You know what I'm saying? That is a big part of the culture out here. But it's not only here. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers battle everywhere. They've been battling
Yeah,
since the beginning of time in hip hop. You know what I mean? And but yeah, we do kind of take that shit serious. And I think when people hear Detroit hip hop, that's the first thing that kind of comes to mind. But it's so, oh my god, bro, like Jay Dilla, Slum Village, and that whole neo soul vibe is often credited to Detroit because Dilla and Slum Village and groups like uh 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 last one's out and Five Ella and these were like these motherfuckers in the early 90s really started like in Detroit, especially Dilla, really started to create. Now there was always soulful hip hop music. Like Big Daddy Kane had soulful records. But this motherfucker Dilla was on some shit where it was like he was really laying the roots down, no pun intended, for that subgenre of hip hop that we call hip hop soul, neo soul, with that Erica Badu, the roots, the way Common started sounding after 5-10 years in the game with Like Water for Chocolate and shit like that. It sounded very different than Common, his first couple albums, but when he hooked up with Dilla, it was like, oh shit, there's this neo soul. It's almost like its own subgenre of hip hop. And I think, a lot of people credit Detroit for that because of Dilla and Slum Village. And then we also got motherfucking some dope ass street rappers, man. Some real dope street rappers. Like I said, Payroll Giovanni, motherfucker Out Cold. And I'm just saying, it's more than that. The backpack battle rap scene. You know what I'm saying?
and who are some of your favorite producers?
My favorite producers like ever, Dilla, Jay Dilla to me, is motherfucking king of Detroit. I really love DJ Premier, one of my all-time
Mm,
high tech. High tech is I just said in that song that y'all played at the beginning, I feel high tech don't get his respect. He's got
right.
so many hits to his name. And when people start talking about the GOAT talk, you hear the Primos, you hear the Dillas, the Dr. Dre's, the Pete Rocks. I love Pete Rocks. And I always feel like high tech's name needs to be mentioned more because that motherfucker's so dope. And he's produced for some of the biggest artists ever and gave them dope ass records. But yeah, man, all those goats, Dre, Pete Rock, Dilla, Primo. I really love High Tech. Madlib to me is might be the motherfucking goat, dog. I love Madlib. A lot of cats, man. A lot of Apollo Brown from Detroit. You know what I'm saying? He doing his thing worldwide, and yeah, man, it's dope shit. A lot of dope producers, bro. I like to say my favorites. Man, that's so tough, but definitely, them goats, bro. But Dilla, bro, Dilla gotta be the one. If I can only
So,
pick one, I'm going with Dilla.
so is it safe to say that Dilla would be your dream producer to cut an EP with?
Absolutely. If God was like, make an EP with any producer, past or present, dead or alive, or whatever the fuck, hell yeah, no, Dilla. It's gonna be the first word coming out of my mouth.
What would you say? Okay, my bad. Go ahead, Katie.
I was here trying to. We had the people in the comments, going in on it, and Ray don't want to let me read out their comments. How fucking rude of you! Hold on, there's a special thing for people like you, right?
Oh man, she don't do it. She did it.
There you
She
go. Okay. So shout out to LP who's on the check-in as well. For some reason I saw her comment on Facebook, but it wasn't letting me play it here. So shout out to LP of the Eargasm, aka Holly the Flip. Shout out to Town Mama. Jasmine Martinez says hello, big bro. Farron Watson said what up. Maylene Ramos said what up.
What
Um,
up, though? Shout out to everybody.
and then let's talk Juggalo, which I have a feeling this came from Valid. For some reason,
That
I
ain't
had
for me.
that. Oh, so who's involved with the Juggalos?
that was I was just about to tap into
That's
that.
some Detroit shit. That's some Detroit shit. What does
Oh,
the
so
question say? I'm on my
ask
phone.
ask Valid what were his career highlights of this year, and what was the biggest letdown of this year, and he said peace.
Mm.
Career highlights of this year. Well, I dropped the Plum Brandy EP in 2020, and I had the release party right before the pandemic hit. It was a success. It was super dope.
We
And
weren't
right when
invited.
hey, that was before I knew y'all. You know what I'm saying? When this world opens back up, we all linking up. That's for sure, man.
And
I
drinking
gotta come
Plum
to the East
Brandy.
Coast, drink some Plum Brandy, drink whatever we want, and but yeah, when I dropped the Plum Brandy EP in February, shit was just getting crazy as hell, and like the newspaper right there, the newspaper did a dope ass article on me. That shit was super dope. You know what I'm saying? My mom was saying at her work, everybody was like grabbing copies of the Detroit newspaper, and like it was super dope. And the Metro Times, like it was just a hot weekend, man. And I was on cloud nine. I was on cloud nine all 2019 like that. And in 2020, that shit was about to happen. And then we got some dope ass phone calls and emails about doing some crazy shit that I'm not really gonna get into, but it was all good shit. It was super dope. And COVID hit though and kind of fucked all that up. So I would say the biggest disappointment was not being able to make these moves I wanted to make because the world got shut down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got it. I see you, Ivy. Yeah. The Plum Brandy EP. Gia Gia. The refill drops tonight at midnight. The reissue, 3 new songs, a remix. Uh, yeah, so the Plum Brandy EP dropped in February. The reissue, the re-up version drops tonight on all platforms at midnight.
Right. And now that you mentioned the newspaper, it ties to something that I have here. So out here, right, we have Hot 97, 105.1. Then you got Sirius XM, Shade 45, internet radio, podcast, live stream shows, etc. Um, Out in Detroit, is there a constant separation between what you would consider mainstream media or mainstream radio, internet radio, podcasts, etc., or is it everybody
Yeah.
on umbrella, so it makes it easier for artists to get heard?
Yeah. It's definitely separate. Other than recently, my man's from Slum Village, T3, he got a show on 107.5, which is one of our top. We got 2 big terrestrial radio stations out here. JLB, which has been around forever, 97.9, and 107.5, Hot 107.5. And recently, my man's T3 from SV, he got his own show on Sunday nights on 107.5. And he pretty much plays whatever he wants. So he'd be playing classic hip hop shit, underground hip hop shit, and it's refreshing to hear that on the radio.
Mm.
But which I would believe is probably the same damn near everywhere, but I could be wrong. Is typically if you turn on the radio and you go to one of the mainstream hip hop stations, you're gonna be hearing what, Cardi B, the Migos, the more mainstream rap names. And it's kind of crazy to me, like when somebody like Royce the 5'9" or Danny Brown, like hometown heroes, drop music and they do numbers and they do very well. And their albums will be doing great on Spotify, on Apple Music, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And their videos will be doing numbers and everything. Still, mainstream commercial terrestrial radio rarely ever play that shit. And it just, not to get too deep into the politics of it, but it's
Yeah.
just I kind of get it to a degree too. It's people who tune in to the mainstream radio are typically of a certain demographic, and they feed that demographic a certain style of music. It just is what it is. Whether they feed it to them or that demographic wants that style of music, it is what it is. So maybe mainstream terrestrial radio even playing that type of music won't even help the artist out much in the long run anyways, because that's probably not the demographic for that music. Maybe not. I could be wrong. There's really no way of proving one or the other.
But
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 it is
valid.
definitely segregated like that. You know what I'm saying? The shit that they play at Shade 4-5, you know, like my shit, you're probably not gonna get, or Apollo Brown shit, or Royce's shit, Elzai shit. Probably not gonna hear on the mainstream radio when you get in your car and just turn the radio on and go to the FM station. It just is what it is.
But you know what though? Because your music, right, is so eclectic, and I'm talking about beat catalog. You can fall into the culture of, let's say, if you really wanted to, pop hip hop. Where one of your songs, because you got like five motherfucking different nasty P's of different styles, that
Right,
if you
right, 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 right.
wanted, your music could be submitted anyway. So in the end of the day, that I feel like the terrestrial radios will still really need them, because one, if you want to get paid from radios, not other than streaming, because in the end of the day, I still say, who gives a fuck about streaming when you still make bigger numbers selling units? Um,
Yep.
and you could
I feel
tell,
you.
especially the business person that's selling from his own website, not only working from the digital streaming platforms. When you go on places like DRT, and you're going on these terrestrial sites, their payout to all these licensing companies is pretty much still more than it is in a stream.
Oh, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. But also know this: there's a lot of politics in this game. It's no coincidence that when a major artist from a certain label drops a song, that song gets played gajillion times a day. But it all, and that's true to damn near anything in life. You know what I'm saying? Who you know, who's vouching for you to get those spins. And the music game is a very political game. There's all kinds of smoky mirrors. If you really were to lift the hood up and see how come this artist gets X amount of plays a day, damn near always at the same time of day, and whatever. And if you were to really do your detective work, and you start to find out, like, oh shit, a lot of these, especially nowadays in this modern world we live in, it's all corporations, the same corporations that own most of these radio stations.
Yeah, like,
And your DJ that's, hey yo, what's up? Thank you for tuning in at the rush hour 5 o'clock, blah blah blah. That DJ don't even really have much, if any, say at all to what he plays. You see what I'm saying? There's a list that's given to him. It's
yeah,
programmed. You're playing these
anything,
songs.
anything
And so
under
how
iHeartMedia.
genuine, yeah, so how when things are that filtered and that dictated, uh you start to realize, well, who's the decision makers of that says this song from this artist gets played 8 times a day. And then, but hold on, you got a motherfucker like on an independent label that's doing major numbers, so you can't tell me, oh, his music sucks or something stupid like that. What? Like, well, somebody must agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Or even like legends, yo. I don't listen to a lot of terrestrial radio, y'all on the East Coast, I'm in the Midwest, I'm in Detroit. Nas, one of the greatest of all time, dog. One of the GOATs. Drops an album. He's even got a song with somebody like Big Sean on it. How come this isn't getting spun on the radio? Why? How come the radio is only this, at least in my experience? You know what I'm saying? I live here and I can only tell you what I hear here. Like when Jay-Z drops 444, I don't really remember them ever playing the singles off of that album on the radio here. But like if somebody like a Cardi B were to drop a single, it gets spun all the time. If the Migos drop a single, it gets spun all the time. And that goes back to kind of what I'm saying earlier. That's it's called commercial radio for a reason. And I think the demographic that tunes into the radio are checking for that sound, that Cardi B, Migos, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love all those artists, but I'm just saying it's a certain vibe, it's a certain wave, it's a certain sound that's what the radio is there for. While somebody like Jay Z or Nas, when they drop albums, there's a different demographic. And I'm not saying that there isn't crossover in the demographic, but I just feel like there's a different demographic and there's a different place and time and there's a different tunnel that music is funneled through. You see what I'm saying? And it's not the radio. And but like I said, I'm not in New York. It probably could be completely different out there. Maybe when Nas drops a new album on Hot 97, they are playing it. Y'all would have to tell me. Y'all in Jersey, you know, I can just tell you here. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'll say the media personality, and then Ray could go into his, or Ray goes
Yeah.
first.
It's like that out here.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, you know, it may not be the music. First of all, I don't really have an issue with, you know, the constant change in music. Because it's whatever.
It's music. It's gonna evolve on its own, bro.
Exactly. So my thing is, they play the same 12, maybe 15 songs every 60 minutes. You might hear the same song played 4 times within a matter of 5 minutes. But then what happens is that um, it inspires a sound. And I'm not sure if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing.
Sure.
But it makes the person listening who is about to pick up that pen for the first time think, this is what I got to do to get famous, or this is what I got to do to get on.
Sure.
So it's like now you're not even telling your truth because you think that WAP is the way. You think Bad and Bougie is the way, or you think, you know, the next candy rapping song is the way. And
Right.
what my thing is with artists is that tell your truth. If you know, let me know you know what led you to this point in your career. Don't just come out the gate because then it's like, all right, you might have skills, I won't know because you're simple, basic, 1, 2, 3, maybe mumble a few words, have a bunch of dope ass ad libs in the back, skirt, and all that. And
Dumbing yourself down.
right. It's to the point when you watch videos of people in their car listening to songs, you barely even see them recite the verse. You might see them do the ad libs and the chorus, which anybody knows the chorus is the most important part of the song.
Right.
You barely see them
And
even recite the verse.
it's a thing too, man, where it's like it's so weird. Like we're talking about this, it just crossed my mind. Like you think about it, for me, like the biggest rappers right now that got the biggest albums are who, bro? Freddie Gibbs, Griselda, all them Griselda cats, killing the game, and motherfucking Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes got the hottest
Mhm.
album in the country right now, and I don't hear any of these people ever on the radio when I turn it on
No,
Except the track with
because I
Mariah,
think
'cause that's trash. Except the track with Mariah.
the you talking about the old track with Mariah or the new track with
The
Mariah?
new track with Mariah is trash.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but it's like, how can Busta Rhymes have the #1 album in the country
and
and he's
not
got
get the.
singles, and you turn on
Mhm.
the radio, you don't hear it? How can Griselda be the hottest thing in rap in the last motherfucking 5 years, and you don't hear it on the radio? And that kind of, I just think, kind of leads to the point that the radio is it doesn't play the dopest shit in hip hop. You
No,
know,
they don't.
like if you were to go on the internet and you go to the blogs, like you go to like certain hip hop websites and blogs and shit like that, and those blogs cover everything in hip hop, from underground boom bap to motherfucking mainstream trap music. It's like for some reason terrestrial radio only plays, for most of the part, not only, but for the most part, just like trap shit, and that's it. And it's just like, yo, I don't get it. Like, how come Griselda is not being spun when I turn the radio on? How
And
can
you
it be
know
so
why?
big and y'all not be playing that shit? I
You
guess
wanna know?
it's the
You wanna
sound.
know
It's just the
why?
wave. Why, mama?
You really wanna know why? Because they're not making the
Tell
advertising
me.
dollars. So when
Mm.
we all grew up, right? And if we're gonna reference the music industry, we could reference it the same way to WWE, for an example, right? Who sells the most advertising merchandise? When Cardi B came into the business, she came in under Love and Hip Hop. Okay, she was
But
a
she had
stripper,
a following already.
but she had the followers from. We're talking about Cardi though. Look where how she got her start, right? In a
Her
in
nation,
a in an industry like this, sex sells. Okay, sex, drugs, and whatever controversy is happening. That is what people are relying on right now. When we grew up in
That's
the
all
era,
Griselda raps about, though. That's
wait, but
90% of Griselda, all they rap about
wait
is violence,
though,
drugs, and sex.
wait though. If there's so much in I don't want to say if there's so much in gang life because they do get popped too, but at the same time, there are some people that fit into the new demographic of what, especially like pop hip hop is supposed to be. So when you hear the stuff like Cardi and you hear the Migos and you hear the and personally, because the only reason I learned this because I went to D100 a year and a half ago. Shout out to Big Veg for bringing me there, and I really got to understand why certain songs are played the way they're played. And it's all for
Mm-hmm.
advertising dollars. D100 was still playing Danza Kaduro that came out in like 2014 because it still had such pop attack. It grabbed the attention span. So they look for the people that will constantly grab your attention span and will help correlate to whatever their advertisers are linked to. So
It's commercial radio. That's what it
so
is.
it's all commercial. That's why I personally don't listen to it. All of my playlists come from independent artists. And if I listen
Got
to
you.
mainstream, I'm listening to like Lauryn Hill. I'm listening to Biggie. I'm listening if we're going into rock. I'm listening to Foo
Sure.
Fighters. So, um, no one
And
considers.
also, I would say, I would also say one giant influence is payola is a real motherfucking thing too.
Yo, but that's the
yeah,
thing too,
You know the right
because
people, and you got a whole lot
yeah,
of money. Hey, yo, I got 20 grand. I want to, I give this radio director or some shit like that 20 G's. You play my song for a motherfucking month, X amount of times a day.
yeah,
They'll
and
do it.
that. But look how, and that's. Do you guys remember that episode of Fresh Prince where Will was acting as Ashley, the manager for her singing career?
hmm
He
yeah.
Hmm. I do remember that.
I take that as a way of how you really need to break somebody into the music industry. Like you have to plot, scheme your way through it because since she didn't fit into that mold of whatever it was, but because the people kept hearing the song because Will faked and said it was insisting on whoever that this so and so person accepted it, then the rest of the community did. So if I'm telling, so I work at DTF and I'm telling everyone valid 313 is the wave, right? And I keep saying it every week. The indie people are gonna follow fucking valid. You know,
Right, right.
it's more about word, and then it's also more about what the advertising dollars pay. So if that is why we are where we are now, because in reality, these radio stations are only allowed to play a list of maybe 100 songs.
That's what I was saying earlier. It's like, and that kind of, and I heard, I forgot which member. One of the members of Run DMC. I was watching him do an interview about this, and he said that's the biggest problem in hip hop is the DJs on the radio and in general don't have the power to play what they feel is dope. And he goes, and it's all a giant payola game. He said, back in the day in the 80s, he said he would be on tour and, he might be in the UK and somebody might slip him a demo tape and say, yo, this is dope. And there was pride in hip hop where it was like to be the DJ to break a record. Now, you want a DJ to break your record for the most part, and I've seen it with my own motherfucking eyes, dog. You know what I'm saying? So can't nobody tell me shit. And I'm not saying every DJ is this way. And I'm not saying the entire hip hop scene is fucking polluted. I'm not gonna throw it under the bridge, but I'm just saying this shit exists. It's they don't take pride in being the person to introduce the masses or the people to this record. They'll take a paycheck to motherfucking or money in an envelope nobody knows about to break a record. And that shit is wet. You know what I'm saying? Because what if somebody slips you the dopest demo tape you ever heard in your life, but they broke? You know what I'm saying? What if they from the ghetto? What if that's hip hop shit? Hip hop is the culture of the have-nots. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you telling me if an MC is dope as fuck or a producer got fly ass beats, but he ain't rich. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna play his shit, or he ain't got some rich investor behind him. He can't. Let's let the music speak for itself. You know what I mean? And who knows? Like you don't know in a 100% pure world where you would end up as an artist or this person or that person. But all I'm just saying is, there's politics in everything we do in life. You can't completely eliminate that, but can we clean it up a little bit? God damn, like can we purify it a little bit here? And I was saying, like in that interview, he was saying, my man from Run DMC was like, I used to go to the UK. Some cat would slip me a demo tape that was sweet as fuck, a beat he made in a dorm room or an apartment in London or some shit. And I would hold on to that shit, come back to New York, and I couldn't wait to give it to my homies that were DJs on the radio. And then they would start playing them beats on the radio saying, this is some new shit. Y'all don't know nothing about this. And motherfuckers would be like, what the fuck is that? And there was pride to do that for the culture. So people would say, well, what does the DJ get out of that? He gets his reputation for being the motherfucker that plays dope shit and breaks dope shit. You know what I mean? And that's how he makes his money. That's why he gets booked for shows. That's why he gets booked to host mixtapes. That's why he's on the radio, because he plays the dope shit. He knows he has a good vibe, a frequency for knowing what's going to connect and resonate with his listeners. And that's how he makes a living. Not just playing whatever somebody pays him to play. That's it. You a jukebox, bro. You ain't no DJ.
Exactly. Yo, so there's another question that came through from Let's Talk Juggalo. The question is, can you ask Valid what producers did he work with and what artists appear on the new Plum Brandy refill? He's definitely excited to hear your new release tonight. Hold up. Did we lose? Okay.
Don't worry, he's here. He probably got a phone call.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Give me 1 second. My phone is acting crazy now. Y'all can still hear me and see me?
Yeah,
we good. Okay. So what all right, let me read this question again. What producers did he work with and what artists are on the new Plum Brandy refill? So the producers on the new shit, I got my man's Kool-Aid from Croatia, who's super dope. He produced tracks for Master Ace, Sean Price, Wu-Tang, motherfucking Bow Wow. He a legend, and he's from Croatia. Super, super talented. Been known in the world of hip hop for years, and it's an honor to have him on this shit. And he did the track called "The Flyest" that drops tonight at midnight. I work with my man from Germany named Figub, super dope producer. He's done again like a lot of like big shit on the international hip hop scene, and I'm super excited about that. I got Boldy James from Griselda Records on there, just like he was on the original. He's on this one. I got my man's Detroit legend, Stretch Money. If y'all don't know about him, Google him. Stretch Money from Detroit. He had radio hits and he had them the pure way. You know what I'm saying? My man Stretch Money. He one of the most respected cats in Detroit, and he's on there on one of the remixes. Um, and my man's Fat Philly in Croatia really put this together. He's like he kind of he been in the game for like over 20 some years in New York, breaking bread with like Primo. He was one of Big L's right hand man, and then but he's from Croatia. He lives in Croatia. He grew up overseas, and but he's just such a dope ass like personality to know, because I was always kind of careful with that shit, because we see, especially in African American or black dominated like art forms, the whole world gravitates to it. Rock and roll music is black music. The whole world does it in every different language. There's German rock bands, Russian rock bands, jazz music. Jazz music is worldwide. That's black music. And I was always kind of weary to I was a little bit hesitant because I care about that. You know what I'm saying? I care about that a lot, to like preserve that shit, because we see what happened with rock and roll. We see what happened with other genres and other cultures. You know, I didn't want to rock. Basically, long story short, I didn't want to rock with no vultures. You know what I'm saying? And my man's Fat Philly, growing up overseas in Croatia and Eastern Europe, he's such a dope ass like protector of that. Like, he knows what's up, and he does a good job at representing the hip hop culture in a part of the world where everybody looks like me, and always making sure that he holds the culture up the right way, and not trying to steal from it, but big up those who gave this to us, that the whole world fell in love with. And he's just done a lot of big shit, like from back in the day, bringing Busta Rhymes, Big L, motherfucking Rakim, I think it was Rakim or Big Daddy Kane. He brought Big Daddy Kane, bringing him out there for shows, and just really like taking the Balkan Eastern European region and building that bridge with the hip hop scene here in America, and bringing artists out over there, and building relationships with them, doing mixes, doing production, doing cuts for giant names in hip hop. I just love the way he operates, and it was a blessing for him to put this battery pack in me and say, come on, we're gonna do this Plum Brandy shit, where we're gonna mix like the Detroit hip hop scene with the Balkan hip hop producers that are out here that are really dope and respected. And that's really the whole point of the Plum Brandy EP, was just kind of bridging the Balkan hip hop scene with the Midwest Detroit hip hop scene, and it is beautiful. And that's why we did it again. We took the same EP, re-released it with new songs and remixes and shit. And so that's how I would answer that question. And shout out to my motherfuckers, Fat Philly, Kool-Aid, Vlada, Alex, Alternativa Radio, blackouthiphop.com. They really, I couldn't have done it without them. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to ask, one of your videos, right, which I was digging, like the way how creative you got with the video, from songwriting to video concept. Like, how do you find the inspiration for like the creativity behind it?
Titles, bro. When I hear, like, I'll be laying in bed trying to go to sleep, like, oh shit, I gotta wake up at 7 in the morning, and your brain starts to wander, and you just thinking to yourself, or not that I'm fucking talking out loud to myself, but you're just kind of talking to yourself in your head, and you may say something, and you'll be like, oh shit, that sounds like a dope name for a song. And a lot of times, titles will inspire a whole concept. I'll take a title and I'll think of how many different things can that title mean. Is it the dopest way to approach it is just at face value, and the title is just these 3 words, what it means is what the song's about? Or do I take those words and make them mean, is it a metaphor and it means something else? So titles, like just phrases and titles and words, often will inspire and birth like a whole concept, where I see, okay, this is what I'm gonna talk about in this song. This is the type of beat I need. This is the type of shit that I'm gonna mention. This is what I want people to feel, what I want people to think when they hear this song. And then this is what I want them to visualize. And if we're going to do a video for this song, these are the colors I want. These are the vibe, the atmosphere that I want the visual to give off. But it all kind of just, usually for me, starts with just a phrase, a word, a title, and be like, that's the name of the song, that's the name of the video, that's whatever. That's how it usually is for me. Sometimes I'll just be coming up with random ass rhymes, and I'll pluck one rhyme out of like these 8 or 12 bars that I just thought of in my head or put in my phone or wrote down real quick. And I'll be like, I'm gonna pluck that one line out, and that's gonna be the name. That's gonna be the concept of the record or what the fuck I'm talking about.
And to better explain that, what I'm gonna do right now is we're gonna tap into your music video that basically sums up everything that I asked you. This is "I Should Be the One" by the homie Ballad.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Um, I'm bad for the dead silence. Just waiting for Katie to run that.
Okay,
Sorry, guys. I was having a little issues on my end.
it's all
My
right.
my bad, yo.
Shout out to everybody still watching.
Thanks.
Chrome tab, share. Wrong thing.
Far from an imbecile, smart as a criminal. Big personality, large individual. Mixed with the hard, sharp bars that I get in you. I should be the one with a narwhal interview. Flag TV, I look good on them couches. You can ask me about Lord Jamal's comments. I should be the one that be barging on the set. Pissed at some bullshit that Charlamagne said. Acting all offended, got me feeling disrespected. Fuck your club, dog, I don't eat breakfast. Go pay a visit to Funk Man Flex. So dope when I'm spitting, then he must let the death. 5 fingers of death. Tell Sway I'm on the way. Then tell them DJs I don't pay for no plays. I should be the one shoe shop complex. I should be the one you copping, no contest. I should be on pull up with Joe Buddy. Spend the first 25 minutes talking about nothing. I should be on BET, rate the ball. Giving any DET MC 5 stars. If they ain't with ours, that's a 0 out of nickel, cause we ain't with them. Yo, my heroes is like nickel. Eminem and L's out Detroit versus everybody. I should be the one that gets to go and tell my boss he can take this job and motherfucking shove it. Million rap hopefuls, I'm the one that done it. I should be the one that the promoter charges your dumb ass to open her. I should be popping up, shocking all my fans. I should be on Tiny Desk rocking for my band. I don't do it for attention, purest of intentions, but I got my balls up. You losers wasn't bad. That's why I should be the one. 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 I should be the I should be the one. I should be the I should be the one. I should be the one. I should be the I should be the I should be the one.
Word.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And the crazy thing is that yo, like I don't know, like out of all out of all the artists that I know personally, to my peers, is like yo, like I don't recall ever seeing someone do that. Even artists that I've listened to, I think
Right.
maybe the closest person creatively that I would definitely expect that some shit like that from would be Busta Rhymes.
Oh man, he's one of my all-time favorites, dog. So I'll take that. I'll take that as a compliment. I don't know if you meant that
No,
as a compliment or not, but I'm gonna take it in
no, no,
my
no,
own head as a compliment.
no, it definitely is a compliment because it's like yo, like you
Man,
always as an artist, you always want to do something different as well.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that too, man, because I always use Bust as a reference. So there's a certain, remember how like earlier I was talking about there's like a little subgenre of like neo soul hip hop. There's a special, I don't know, maybe I can't really say subgenre, but there's a certain group of artists that that are historic figures in hip hop that I feel are like they got a special animated style about them. And what I mean by that is cats like Busta Rhymes that can do like a funny video, like an animated video, but you still take them serious. It's not like a joke. You like
Right.
Busta Rhymes, Redman. Redman got that wild animated off the wall style.
Yeah.
Eminem, Ludacris, like Ludacris had them funny videos where he was doing wild shit. And there's only like a few motherfuckers like that. And I typically don't make records like that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I typically don't make like funnier records or funnier songs. But that one was, and it's funny, man, that you say that because in my mind, I felt like this is like a song that falls in that Eminem, motherfucking Redman, Busta Rhymes, Ludacris, R.A. the Rugged Man, ha ha ha. But it's serious at the same time. It's ha ha ha. But this motherfucker's a real motherfucking MC. You can't fuck with him. And
Right.
uh, and that's why I always love those artists because they're very rare. Slick Rick is one of them artists where he can do like funny animated cartoony shit, but it's not corny. You see what I'm saying? It's funny, but it's not corny. Or if it's corny, it's meant to be corny on purpose to make you laugh. And nobody like you don't take away credibility points from them. It's not a gimmick. And I I always put those MCs in a certain group, and that video was kind of like me paying homage to a little bit to them type of MCs that could do that ha ha shit, but they get busy on the mic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like even watching that is almost like a breath of fresh air because like it's things that it's creativeness like that is definitely missing in today's music. So to see that, man, is one big salute to you because it's like
Thank
I
you,
grew up
bro.
watching the woo-has and
Yeah, man. The
I
ODBs and shit. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? And people are too cool nowadays. You ain't gotta be
Hmm.
that cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's okay to leave the crib, without putting deodorant on once in a while. It's okay to be funky. You know what I mean? Redman used to be out here picking his nose and shit. Big Proof was doing shit like that. God bless Big Proof. Rest in peace. It's like I don't know why it was like cooler back in the day to like I ain't gotta be cool. I could just be myself and be funny and be stupid sometimes. And I do think
Yeah.
that is something that's kind of missing from now I'll give it up to Action Bronson. He do shit like that. I
Mm.
fucks with Action Bronson. So
Yeah.
he ain't scared to be to be clowning every now and then. And I appreciate that about him.
Word. And being the first generation Detroit Servant seed, like forgive me, I say this wrong, but like, what has the reception been amongst other Serbians? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, Serbians. That's a little bit of a tough one. It's like just like any culture, you have the more conservative traditionalist of that culture, and then you have people there who are more open minded. I think me and Ivy talked about this when I did her interview, where
Still
especially like with
available, by
like,
the way.
what's up?
It's still live and available everywhere at Raw Zone NYC. Hashtag
Oh
shameless
yeah, yeah,
plug.
yeah.
Live
Uh,
at 5.
um, yeah, it's. I'm sure that I know for a fact that there's the more conservative people um, in my ethnic group that probably see a rapper that are gonna say that's not our music. We have our own music. We have our own culture, la, 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 and all that shit. And which is true. Like, you should rep your own shit and be proud of your own shit. But it doesn't mean that you have to live in that bubble. You know what I'm saying? It's so I don't. I don't care. Like if there's people out there that think I'm doing something wrong, you know what I mean? Hey, they don't pay my bills. It's like that's fine. I know who I am. I'm still very proud of who I am and who my people are. I still I'm not a historian, but I still feel I have a pretty good, decent base of knowledge of my ethnicity and where my people are from and our culture and our customs, and I love it. But that don't mean that if I fall in love with a certain style of music or a certain cuisine, that I'm not allowed to cook that cuisine, or you know what I'm saying, or like you know what I mean. It would be like that's so um that's so such an elementary way of thinking. And I don't mean that as a compliment when I say elementary. I mean like that's so uh thick-headed to think like that. But on a positive tip, in the Balkan region, the whole Balkan region, not just Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, Slovenia, like all them countries over there, they've been really receptive to what I'm doing. Like the hip hop heads over there, they love it. You know what I mean? I feel that they love it. I get cats popping up in my inbox from wherever. You know what I'm saying? In that region of the world, and that's to me that tells me that hip hop and music in general, there's something special about hip hop brings people together. Like, I'm not going to go into a history lesson, but in that region of the world, that all used to be one country of many different republics. War happened in the 90s, and a lot of hate was just out there in the open between these different countries, Bosnia, Serbia, Croatia, all these. It was just a lot of negativity, a lot of hate, a lot of terrible situations, death and whatever, and atrocities committed by all sides. And it's beautiful for me that I learned so much about all the bad stuff that these people did to each other, whether it was back in World War II or recently in the 90s. And, you read so much about the bad shit. And now here I am doing hip hop with cats from all these countries. And nobody gives a fuck that I'm Serbian. You know what I'm saying? The cats that I'm rocking with from Croatia, they don't give a fuck that I'm Serbian. The Bosnian cats, they don't give a fuck. And I don't give a fuck if they're Croatian or Bosnian or whatever the fuck. Where hip hop, when people say hip hop brings people together, as cliche as that sounds, it really does. And it's beautiful for me to see. I'm very proud of the people, the young kids from where my parents are from. I grew up over here. You know what I'm saying? My parents are from over there. And I find it brings joy to my heart, dog, when I see these young kids that they don't give a fuck about that political bullshit, and they just want to make music, bro. And as corny as that sounds, it warms my heart. Like it's a beautiful thing. We just want to make music. We love rap. They all grew up listening. It don't matter. They all grew up listening to Pac, Biggie, Nas, and they break bread. You know what I'm saying? And they all work with each other. All the producers work with each other. All the rappers work with each other. And it's just like, man, that political shit is for the birds, man. Live your life, make music. You know what I'm saying? Be happy.
Right. And like, what's been one of the illest fucking pieces of advice that you've been given that you incorporate into everything you do?
Sean Price. Sean Price told me the one time I met him. Rest in peace, Sean Price. I introduced myself to him, and this is years ago. Like I was fresh on the Detroit hip hop scene. Gave him like a mixtape that was probably whack. I'm sure it was whack. Before I was, 100% confident in my skills, but I was just hungry to like get on the scene, and that's why I mentioned that in the first track you played at the beginning of the interview, where I say I believe I put music out before I was ready. I really did. But regardless of the point, met Sean Price, shook his hand. What up, though, man? Hey, my name is Valid. I've done a couple cool things. Blah 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 blah. I had so and so happen. So I was just kind of giving him a little bullshit credentials of what I've done, and gave him my mixtape and just whatever. And he actually talked to me, and I was kind of nervous, but he was just like, you know what, man, I could tell by your presence, the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the way you speak, the things you said you accomplished whatever. He said, I could tell you serious. This isn't just like some hobby to you. Like you want to do this for real. And he goes, so I'm gonna just give you this one piece of advice, bro, that I give all new artists. He says, when you get to where you're trying to go, that's when the work really begins. He says a lot of artists bust their ass to get on. But what they don't understand is it's even more work to stay on than it is to get on. He goes, a lot of cats will get a record deal, they get in the game, they get their foot in the door, they have a song on the radio, they have a hot single, and then they think they made it, that they've crossed the finish line. Nah, bro, the race just begun, my G. Everything you did up to now was just practice to get your ass in the race. Now let's see what you got for real. And I always just kind of kept that in my head that's like the more successful you become, the more work you got to do, the harder it gets. And that's true in any business. You know what I'm saying? If you sell motherfucking cardboard boxes, the more boxes you sell, the more your expenses grow. You feel what I'm saying? So now it's the more people you have to hire, the more trucks you have to buy to ship those boxes. So it becomes a bigger expense the more successful you get to maintain that business, and so it don't fold. And I just think that was just the coolest piece of advice, because I didn't think, because I would, to keep it 1,000 with you at that time, I was just like, man, once you get that record deal, you know what I'm saying? If motherfucking Dr. Dre were to call you and sign you to Aftermath Records, you're good. Nah, homie, you just got in the game. Welcome. Now we're about to like bust your ass for real. So that's the piece of advice I always just kind of kept close to me was, I hope you're not hustling to live an easier life. The more you make it, the harder this shit is gonna get. The more demanding it gets, not the less demanding.
No, that's definitely something that I wish a lot of artists knew. Okay. What's up? Let's talk Juggalo. Last question. Can we expect more visuals for the refill?
Yeah, I hope so. It's just right now I don't really know what to I really don't know what to say to that, because it's like I've been having conversations with other artists and everything, and with this COVID shit, man, it's just kind of tough. Like as you see with the first video y'all played, I believe that's me in a park right here in the D. That's like it's me by myself. It's just me and the two cameramen. We were in the woods shooting that shit. Now, let's say I want to shoot a video with a bunch of people. You can't right now, bro. So we're kind of limited. And the songs I want to do videos for, either people live overseas, and that makes it kind of tough. Or like another song, one of the joints I want to do a video for, you would have to shoot this shit in a club, in a bar with people, and this shit would be popping. And it's like, you can't do that right now. And, but yeah, you can expect to see some visuals. It's just a matter of which one, how we're going to execute it, and everything.
Right. Let's get to a deeper conversation.
Sure.
And it's something that's been going on for a little bit now. So before I even get into that, as an artist, would you rather pay $700 to be on a mixtape featuring 27 other artists?
I already know where this is going.
Or would you rather take that 700? Hold on. Would you rather take that 700 and invest it into PR, marketing, etc.?
Definitely invested into PR, marketing, and everything, because ain't nobody gonna listen to that motherfucking mixtape. That shit is a scam. And I like my results to be pure. It kind of goes back to what we're talking about with the radio. So if my song is on a mixtape, it goes back to that Run DMC shit. I need to know, the hip hop head in me, the artist in me needs to know it was on that mixtape because that DJ wanted it there. Mm-hmm. And I want the type of looks money can't buy. The shit gotta be dope, or dope to somebody, because it's all subjective at the end of the day. But I need to know I made shit that resonated with somebody and enough people that it ended up on that mixtape. Not I bought a spot on a mixtape. And that goes back to like in the last video you played. I say it, and tell them DJs I don't pay for no plays. You know what I'm saying? It's I want my results to be as pure as they can be. I need, I ain't paying to fucking open up for anybody. I need to know that the type of music I made, the show promoter said, "Hey, we want you on this bill to open up for so and so." You know what I mean? And it's just like, and it just kind of goes back to like, what are the fuck are we doing here? Like, this is supposed to be music. So if music is your craft, like my father was a mechanic, you see what I'm saying? I've never in my life seen my father pay anybody to fix their car for them. Why would I pay for you to have my song on your mixtape? Like, that was my investment into your mixtape. If anybody's getting paid from this transaction, it's me, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and I know people say that's not how the game works, and da 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 da. And it's just like, well, maybe that's how it should work. And I've always been like, I'd rather live chasing the ideal and never get it than settle for the bullshit. You see what I'm saying? So it's at the end of the day, like, paying to be on a mixtape. Nah, bro. Let me tell you something. Build your fan base. See what I'm saying? Just build your fan base. No cosign is gonna do it for you. You know what I'm saying? If Jadakiss is gonna share my video, I need to know it's because Jadakiss said this motherfucker's dope, and he felt inspired to share my song with his following and his platform. It needs to come from a pure place for me, or I don't want it. It just that's just me. You see what I'm saying? And maybe that's why I'm limited. And maybe there's a glass ceiling that I may never pass because maybe I'm a purist to a fault. You see what I'm saying? I understand that. I'm not that naive and dumb to not realize that. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I can't pay the New Jersey basketball team, or they moved it from the New Jersey to Brooklyn or whatever, or Detroit Pistons. I can't pay the Pistons to let me be an NBA player. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, do you see what I'm trying to like the correlation I'm trying to make? I can't. If I'm a boxer, I need to box my way to the top. If I'm a rapper and I'm a musician, I need to make music that resonates with enough people that it gets me to wherever the fuck I'm supposed to go with it. And I understand there's all kinds of shit because music isn't a sport like that in that sense. So I get the differences. I understand it's not 100% correlation, but if I'm a doctor, I get hired to practice medicine. If I'm a rapper, I need to get hired for how I rap. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Again, mechanics don't pay people to fix cars. They get paid to fix cars. MCs should get paid when their song is on a mixtape. They should get paid when they rock a show, not paid to rock a show, And it's just like, what the whole culture needs to hit pause and say, what the fuck are we doing? Like, this shit don't make sense, yo. This shit is a giant scam. This shit is all smoky mirrors. And it's like, I can't pay Vince McMahon to let me wrestle at WrestleMania. So I shouldn't be able to pay to rap anywhere. I should have to be dope to a certain amount of people's opinions. In a certain amount of people's opinions, I should be dope enough that's why I'm being presented. That's why my name is on the flyer. That's why my name is on the mixtape. That's why I'm asked to be on a song with somebody. Is because the art I create resonates with enough motherfucking people that it makes sense to do that. And that's the way I approach shit.
And what do you feel would be a better way for a lot of the major artists to help independent artists, unsigned artists? Like, what would you feel like would be a better way rather than this mixtape scam?
Now, if you're talking about like as far as services go, that I wouldn't know. But I mean, if you're an established artist in the game and you think somebody's dope and you feel that based on music and merit, that they work hard, they're not just dope, but they bust their ass, they're responsible, they take care of their shit, because there's a lot of other things too that matter, not just the music. Like again, you can be the baddest basketball player in the world, but if you keep fucking up and going to jail, you ain't gonna be in the NBA, dog. You know what I'm saying? So all these other factors matter too, and that's why some people say like, oh, how come this motherfucker ain't he ain't sharing my music, or this famous rapper ain't he knows who I am. How come he ain't doing it for me? Well, because there's a million other rappers out there, and that's number one. And number two is so much shit has to be calculated before a big name says this is the motherfucker and gives him a cosign or a stamp like that. You know what I'm saying? Because now his reputation is on the line. It's just like anything else in life, bro. If me and you work at the same company and I feel that you're a mess up, even though I know let's say we'll go with mechanics. We're both mechanics. You're a great mechanic. You're probably a better mechanic than me. But oh shit, where I'm working, they don't play that shit. And I know for some reason you show up late, you do all these other things that have nothing to do with fixing cars. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna bring you in, bro, because now my reputation's on the line where I work. You feel what I'm saying? So this rap shit is very similar in that of why people don't get cosigns or whatever. It's not just the music. There's other things that matter too. But you shouldn't be able to buy them. And to answer your question, I just feel like if there's a real dope, and Royce does this. This is why I like Royce the 5'9". If you feel there's an artist that's younger than you, or maybe older than you, but just doesn't got that same platform, and you want them to gain some exposure and do numbers and this that, yo man, put them on your album. Or if you really want to give them that shine, you know what I'm saying? You get another established artist on the track with you, and then you bring the cat that doesn't have that big of a name and put them on the same track to really like jumpstart them. This is shit record labels used to do, bro, back in the day. That's why cats would get signed, and before their first album would drop off a Def Jam or something like that, they've been on the label for 2 or 3 years because the label would have them opening up for the bigger names on the label. They would have them jump in as features to just kind of like introduce them to the world, and then maybe like the after a year or two they would finally have their own single, but it's just a single, and then eventually when the people, and it's a different day, now we got internet and shit, but eventually when the hip hop heads would see like, oh, this is that same artist that was on this guy's album, that guy's album. Oh, I saw him open up for this guy. Now he's got his own single. And then eventually it made sense to pull that trigger and push them as the star solo. You see what I'm saying? And not playing the background for other artists. But I think the best thing you can do is just put them on your album, have them open up for you, do shit like that. It's just share your platform if you really believe in them.
That's facts. As we get closer to the end, I wanted to ask you, and this is before this whole COVID shit hit, what has been your favorite place and or venue to perform in?
Well, in Detroit, I'm kind of known for I throw some pretty dope ass shows at a venue called Old Miami. It's a dope music venue in Detroit. In what they call what do they call it now? It was really called Cash Quarter, but with all this gentrification shit, they call it something else now. Newtown? No, not New. I forgot. Cash Quarter, dog, on Cash, Old Miami. It's been there for years. Dope music venue, and they do a lot of dope hip hop shit there. Other than that, I love to rock at the Shelter. The Shelter, yes, the same Shelter that, yeah, it's still popping. It's still dope. It's a real dope music venue. That's actually where I met Sean Price, where that story happened, was right before he was about to rock the Shelter. There's a lot of dope spots in Detroit. It's just I'm kind of scared with this COVID shit. It's like a lot of these places are closed. I'm scared, when the world opens up, are we gonna have some stages to rock? I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be, but it's just like the game gonna be different, dog.
Did you ever think maybe even just like going into one of these venues and just doing the shit virtually?
I've thought about that. There's something that I'm scheming. So like every year I do what is called Valentine's Day instead of Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, and I do a dope ass flyer where like I look like Cupid or some shit. And lately I've done 3 of them. So this upcoming February would be Valentine's Day 4. And we always come out with like a real dope, crazy ass lineup where motherfuckers get excited for. The flyer usually gets people excited as fuck. And So those are always they're becoming like a staple, like a yearly staple in Detroit hip hop. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do that this year. Like obviously in February, I don't think we're gonna be having concerts unless a miracle falls from the sky, but that ain't gonna happen. Um, but with that being said, I got a couple ideas of how I want to do Valentine's Day for maybe via YouTube or some shit like that. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to say nothing and then not do it. Sound like an asshole. So I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
too much, but I'm definitely considering some shit like that. Yes, sir.
Well, and if like with this whole COVID-19 pandemic, if that taught you anything, what has it taught you?
Um, count your blessings. Like I said earlier, there was I was bitter, bro. Like real talk. I was bitter. I was depressed at the universe. You know what I'm saying? I was having some stern conversations with the man upstairs, like how, like, I busted my ass all my life for this, and X Y Z was about to happen, and then the world shuts down like right before you know, these doors were about to open up for me, and it didn't make sense to me. It almost felt like a movie. Like I was walking around saying jokes like, "Dog, this is a practical joke on me by God," like saying before I'm able to like take it to the next level, he rather let the whole world shut down before the big Valboski, gets the pop or some shit like that. It was just a silly joke, but eventually I had to like bitch slap myself and say, "Yo, dog, people out here losing lives. They're losing loved ones, and you're moping about not being able to rap on a stage. Stop crying. It ain't that. As much as it means to me and everything like that in the grand scheme of things, knock on wood, I haven't lost anybody uh, really close to me yet due to this COVID-19, but I know people who have, and people are losing jobs, and people are losing whatever. So it's like, whatever this COVID shit cost me, it ain't nothing. As much as I want to cry and moan and whine about it, it's life goes on. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of taught me to be like, stop being a crybaby, bro. You know what I'm saying? Or the universe will give you something to really, really, really cry about. Took me a couple weeks
Yeah.
to grasp that. You know what I'm saying? And to stop thinking so selfishly.
I thought I thought I raised my hand this time, so I didn't cut nobody off. Um,
Okay.
what do you feel like is the best trait you picked up? I don't remember if I asked you during our interview, but what was the best trait you picked up during quarantine, or best skill?
Mm. Um,
I told you Ray
I
I was gonna find
updated.
some questions.
Yeah, I definitely updated my online store to make it more mobile friendly. That was pretty cool. So I learned some shit about that. I definitely stepped up my like a little bit, like my graphic design game, like on how to make like flyers and shit like that. I'm not a G. I'm not saying I'm the man, but I can definitely do shit now on the computer with some of these uh, image softwares that I wasn't able to do before. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I'll say those are the first two things that come to mind when you ask me that question.
Well, I mean, if you ever need help with graphics or with videos, me and Ray kind of do this shit.
Hey, okay,
So
okay. I'll
we
holla at you.
we don't mind traveling, yo. Gives us an excuse to get out of our states.
I feel you.
Um, Now, and this is thanks to Katie because this is something that I was very unaware of. How
Oh
up to
shit, am
date
I in
are
trouble?
you? Now, how up to date are you with everything involved in the WWE?
Oh lord.
Um, I'm more up to date with the drama and not like the storylines on TV, which is a sad
Wait.
thing.
So
Like I'm
the
more
backstage drama. Okay, cool.
like the
Mm.
shit you read about, like in the dirt sheets. Like I follow AEW probably much more lately than I do WWE. Um, but like the shit with Vince McMahon, fucking what's his name, like taking their Twitch accounts and shit like that. I'm
Yeah,
definitely I hear that stuff from my wrestling buddies quite often. Now I did see the what was it, the NXT match that Meltzer gave 5 stars, that brutal fucking match with Walter and the Russian cat. What was his name? Ilya something. God damn. But that shit, the NXT UK, that match was dope as fuck. NXT, I like, they put out great wrestling matches, man.
They
They
do.
really do. And I dare I say, the AEW fans gonna come, you know, guns blazing at me. I still think the best wrestling matches, um, and not like specific, like just in the totality of things. Like when I watch an episode of NXT versus an episode of AEW, I
Yeah.
still think the better wrestling in ring work still might be happening on the NXT brand. I really don't know what the fuck's going on Raw or SmackDown. I barely pay attention. Um, but
So
I don't think NXT has necessarily better wrestlers, but I just feel like I know Shawn Michaels and Triple H are running the shit there, and they're like producing. And in
Yeah.
my humble opinion, and a lot of people, people will always say, "Oh, Shawn Michaels is the goat, the greatest in ring worker." Da, 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 da. I don't know, he's definitely my favorite wrestler, and I think
that's
he
debatable.
does know how
That's
to.
debatable.
Yeah, it's debate. It's always debatable, but I feel like when I watch NXT, even though the matches, like even though the wrestlers aren't like him, I feel like there's like a touch of HBK matches in these NXT matches that like build up drama and then they like get really slow and the guys are like laying down. And even if they're not doing the most craziest fucking moves, they're telling you like a good story within 15 minutes, 20 minutes of TV time that they have, 10 to
Right.
20 minutes. And it's just like a little bit reminiscent of classic Shawn Michaels matches. And I feel like maybe it's in my own head where I feel like, dog, that might have something to do with him like producing these matches. You know what I'm saying? That they feel like that when you watch them. They feel very uh they have a very dramatic, realistic vibe to them. But so does AEW.
Yeah.
AEW, they have good matches too. I just think something's a little bit more refined about the NXT product as far as the in-ring work goes, and that could be anything, camera angles. And it's like, come on, dog. WWE, they've been doing it for forever. They've been the top dogs for a
Yeah.
long time now. So I think WWE knows how to uh, probably produce a better television show than AEW. Um, but I still, dog, AEW sweet as fuck to me.
I
I'm
Yeah.
not
kind of
saying they're perfect. I'm not saying they're perfect. There's a couple things that I complain about too when I watch AEW. That's like, damn, I wish they would switch this and that up. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I just get more excited about AEW than I do WWE.
so I try to be respectful when it comes to AEW because usually Wednesdays are a little hard for me because I'm always like normally me and Ray are recording the podcast part of Raw Zone on Wednesdays. And then we kind of slip into it like that's our last day that's like Mikey's and Ray's last day of recording technically for Raw Zone, and then
Sure.
whatever. So me, I don't fall into AEW sometimes. I used to like it in the beginning, but the only thing that lost my attention during that time when AEW first came out were the pay-per-views. Because the pay-per-views, and especially the one maybe had to be the third or fourth pay-per-view in and it had like right after Jack Swagger, aka whatever he's going by now, he came out, and it was like the handler or something like that. That pay-per-view, it just dragged so much for me that it turned me off to watching the product. And it's
Mm.
not to say the wrestling fan because I love watching NXT. Well, at the time I did because I had no time on Wednesdays. So for me, I would love watching the product because it brought you old school attitude era vibe, the same thing NXT brings. And what I think with WWE and again with AEW, um, they they brought the elements back of what wrestling is supposed to be. Um, and marketed it to the audience that it should have been to. So now people in the 25 to 34 or even 34 to like 60 are watching NXT and AEW in addition to watching I want to say SmackDown because Raw's numbers have been dwindling extremely over the last year if you look at the Nielsen ratings. So
Right.
right now outside of those two the most dominant brand is SmackDown because
Right.
they made Raw trash up until they had the Fight Club. I call it Fight Club, but it's Raw Underground. Um so that's they bring all those elements and then on top of that they really Jericho talks so much shit you might as well have the Monday Night Wars all over again. And make like had WWE and AEW been smart, they really could have marketed their hate. Well, Cody could have marketed their hate for each other
Right.
in a better way.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think AEW does pay per views very very good. Where
But that's
I
because
love
they're
that there's only
perfecting it
four
now.
a year.
Mm.
There's only four a year, so I think what that does is it elevates the exclusiveness, the specialness of the pay per view because there's only four a year. So it's like it's how it used to be with WWF. You had SummerSlam, that's a big deal. WrestleMania, granddaddy of them all. Royal Rumble, that's a big deal. Survivor Series, that's a huge deal. When you have a pay per view every month,
Yeah,
it
it gets
waters
annoying.
it down.
So every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like then why do we even have the weekly shows then? You know what I'm saying? We might as well only have fucking pay per views like it's boxing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it, what I think when you have less pay per views, only three, four a year, it makes the pay per views more special. But then at the same time, it also makes the weekly show more special because now, without a pay per view, to like they're not going to have AEW's not going to have another pay per view until February. It's another 4 months from now. So now that means in order to keep the viewers' attention and keep them engaged, you can't save all the dope shit for the pay per view because it's so far from now. So now you got to do pay per view level shit on your weekly show, which makes the fucking shows more interesting and sweeter. And that's why you'll see like the chain match that Cody Rhodes had with Brody. That's a pay per view style match, but they had to do it on the show because the pay per view ain't for another motherfucking 2 months, dog. You know what I'm saying? So you have to. It brings up. I think it forces you to make the shows every week special, and it makes the pay per view feel even more. What's the word I'm looking for here? Not exclusive. I already said that. Prestigious. That's what I was about to say. So now a match on a pay per view is even more prestigious because pay per views are they're rare. You know what I'm saying? So when you see Orange Cassidy on a pay per view, it's a bigger deal for Orange Cassidy to be live on pay per view because there's only four of them a year, dog, and there's only so many slots. It's
I
only three
enjoy
hours
Orange
long.
Cassidy.
Freshly
Yeah,
squeezed.
Orange Cassidy's
Freshly
dope. He
squeezed.
cracks me
You
the fuck up.
cannot just not enjoy Orange Cassidy. Like especially after what he I'm never not bringing up that whole thing with the orange juice and Jericho in the towel. Like that's fucking petty as shit. I love it. Like that just brought the inner asshole out of me.
It was fun, man. It was entertaining. At the end of the day, whether you're, it's like I always say, wrestling and hip hop, dog, are distant relatives because it's like
Mhm.
I say this whether it be music or whether it be wrestling. Um, you can be the biggest wrestling purist of all time, and at the end of the day, you still have to understand this goes on TV and needs to be entertaining. See what I'm saying? So even with music, you can be the biggest backpack MC, lyricist, whatever, but the shit still got to entertain and resonate with the listener. So it doesn't mean your song can't be serious. Doesn't mean your song can't be doesn't necessarily even have to be catchy, but it does need to grab somebody's attention. So I feel like the shit, you know, with Jericho and MJF doing that motherfucking Saturday Night Live shit, I'm all for it. This is supposed to be entertainment. Doesn't mean though we still can't. At the same time, we can still approach it how AEW tries, with a little bit more of a sports like realistic vibe to it. So you take it serious, and the titles actually mean something. And when you win or lose a match, it actually means something to the characters. I like that. It's like we still got to keep it entertaining and funny, and make you want to tune in, but let's actually make the wins or losses mean something. It's like when you watch Sopranos. It's one of my favorite shows ever. Like everything that happens to these characters means something. Like if somebody gets popped, if you feel it, because now you're invested. Like, oh shit, did they just whack so and so? I can't believe they killed him off the show. Wrestling needs to feel like that. Like, oh shit, did Jericho just lose that match? I can't believe it. We've lost that in mainstream WWE.
Yep.
Roman can win today, lose tomorrow. It's 50-50 booking. The wins or losses don't matter, bro. The titles change so fast that who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? The same wrestlers fight each other so often. Every time I turn the fucking TV on, that it's like you're not emotionally invested. It don't mean nothing. It's like, you know, if you turn on The Sopranos and somebody's getting fucking shot every day, and somebody dies on every episode, it doesn't matter then. So yeah.
Yo, Valid. I want to thank you for coming on tonight. I know over here is 11 o'clock. I know your new project drops at midnight.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
To say whatever you want to say, promote whatever you want to promote. The floor is yours.
Hey, first off, I want to say thank you to my dog Ray Pearson for having me on the show. Thank you to Ivy for putting this all together. Shout out to all my East Coast people. Jobber Tears Podcast, Sir Wilkins, DJ Eclipse on Shade 45, DJ Riz on Shade 45, the whole Rap is Out of Control family on Shade 45. Thank you for supporting me for the past couple of years. Shout out to all my peoples in New York. I love y'all. I miss New York. I want to come see you guys and give all you guys a big hug, but not, you know, I don't want to do it when it's dangerous. So I'm gonna keep my ass over here. Other than that, to all the listeners, go ahead, Ivy. What up?
Well, we wanted to say, well, you're valid. Had no pun or pun extremely intended. You're valid in our books. If we can help you and maybe be an extension of your brand somehow to get you more on the East Coast, let us know. We could work something out. We flexible.
Absolutely.
Like the one thing I can definitely say about our team, and especially with Ray, right? Like Ray definitely supports the entire team. And if Ray believes in the product, he will push it, and that's the one thing I respect about him, and I consider him a partner, especially with Raw Zone. So
hey man, I'm down to break bread with whoever. Y'all give me, like I just said, y'all just shared your platform with me, so now I feel indebted to build with y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's the way I operate. I'm definitely gonna hit you guys up. Definitely gonna, when this world opens back up. You know what I'm saying? We need to get Valid and Ray Pearson live in New York, and then we get Valid and Ray Pearson live in Detroit. You know, I'm always down to build like that.
Sounds fire.
Dog, you know what I'm saying? That's how I built like my home from home is Chicago. You know, my man Slot A, I did a project with him. That's how I build with people, man. And but yeah, I just want to thank y'all for having me on the show. I want to thank the viewers. Thank y'all for tuning in. I was gonna try to I wasn't able to share it while we were doing it because I'm not that tech savvy. So I was scared of because I'm doing this on my phone to shrink this screen and then go on Facebook and share the link. Is this gonna be available to share it?
Yeah, so this is always gonna be
okay, cool.
All you gotta do is go on. Well, I should let Ray Pearson do the job, but let me give you your applause.
There you go.
Thank you. Everyone give it up for Valid, everyone. Give it up for the motherfucking man in the building.
Tonight, the Plum Brandy EP drops. The reissue drops at midnight. My name is Valid. I got the Plum Brandy EP out. I got the Mihailo album right now on streaming services. Valid313.com. Go copy some shirts, copy some vinyl records. Valid313 on social media. Thank you, world. Peace.
Yo, Valid. Katie's gonna put don't exit. Katie's gonna control it.
Okay.
Just chill out in the backstage while I do my sign off.
Peace. I'm here. I ain't going nowhere.
All right, so I'm backstage, Katie. Yo,
Uh,
dope show, man. Once again, shouts to everybody tuning in on Facebook. Shouts to everybody who tuned in on YouTube. Shouts to the homie Let's Talk Juggalos that was active. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Um, Once again, we're in November. We're in the fourth quarter of the year. Quickly approaching 2021. As far as the schedule for quarantine and rap, I will slide something towards Katie as far as an idea, but if all doesn't happen, um, I am looking at the first and second Thursday of December to wrap up quarantine and rap for the year, so I can
Season one, bitches, is almost over. It's almost over.
I can start putting out my ideas on paper of what I want to do as far as the comeback for quarantine and rap. Like I said in the very beginning of quarantine and rap, eventually this will turn into a podcast. There are things brewing in the coffee pot, and basically, you know what I mean. I just appreciate everybody who's been rocking with me, who's been following quarantine and rap from LP to Chris Rivers, to Heavy Bags, to Jay Diamonds, to Jay Rose. Jay Rose dropping tonight at midnight. I got Valis Project to listen to, and then Jay Rose behind that. So I want to thank everybody. Thank you all once again for tuning in. As this comes to an end, stay safe, stay healthy, be
Well, how?
happy.
Excuse me. Whoa. Excuse me. Let me just. I need to give you a toilet flush for this one because this is a bad outro. First of all, we didn't even say what where we you still have out. We didn't even say where the fuck can they find us.
Oh, my bad.
They
Look at
didn't
that. Look
even,
at that.
you
I'm
didn't even
so
mention the project.
I'm so. You see, I mean, it goes back to what I was telling you off this earlier.
I don't
Um,
want to hear excuses.
where it started at the EP. It's officially out. 6 songs. The EP entirely produced by Famine. Where it started at is out now on any streaming platform, whether it's Tidal, Spotify. Shouts to the big homie Left, who's on where it started at on Living Legends. He's on the EP. Um, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, SoundCloud, AudioMac, whatever is your poison, that's where you can find where it started at. I'm already in talks with Famine to finish off the original project, Apartment 2F. Suave Ramon is in the works, so that will be worked on. You guys will get that next year. I'm keeping the wheels rolling. I got some other things, some other ideas in the works. Um, just ties to everything that I've talked about on quarantine and rap, and I'm looking forward to all of this. And you know what I mean. And that's one thing I've asked people already. Like, what is this pandemic taught you? And one thing it has taught me is that to think ahead. Think ahead and make sure you have a backup plan, because if everything happens again, you know what I mean, at least now I'm prepared. Quarantine and rap was something that I had to do to get the time going. And look, now I go live fucking almost every Thursday now. So, once again, going back to everything, be happy mentally, be happy spiritually, be happy physically, be healthy mentally, be healthy spiritually, be healthy physically. 'Cause without that happiness mentally, you're not going to be happy spiritually or physically. And on that note, y'all already know how I end my show. Oh, wait, go ahead, Katie.
Sorry, I kind of wanted to just drop an announcement really quick. Thank you everyone for tuning in. But first of all, Ray, I need to tell you I'm super proud of you because you went through this whole pandemic once again with the plan to still keep your engagement, and you found it. And even though we are at the end of season one, um, we're going toward the end of season one. I'm very excited right now, especially the plans that we have, especially working on the redesign of the platform, how everything is gonna turn out, especially, and just that's gonna follow in the suit for everyone. Like after the next couple of weeks, our podcast section for Ivy Productions is gonna be going on a break. Raw Zone is still gonna keep going up until the new year. Um, and when we come back from the New Year's, we're gonna have the new website, which is gonna actually have some surprises inside, courtesy of our music aficionado over here, Ray Pearson. So please keep up with the brand. Just because we're gonna be off for a couple of weeks, it doesn't mean we're still not gonna be dropping content, but instead we're gonna be getting everything ready for you guys. So you could be tuning into this to Spotify and you could hear Ray Pearson, or you could hear Live Johnson, or you could hear myself. We're trying to make sure we make that platform for you, because in reality we're probably not gonna see a free New York or a free state free of COVID till maybe July if we're lucky. Um, and
Man,
we and we need to take this time not only to count our blessings that we're still with our families, especially with all these now new restrictions that New York State posed for us, but we
New
need to.
Jersey.
Well, I heard you guys got the curfew back.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, but all restaurants can't have indoor dining at as of 10 o'clock. So, and then there are places that are getting hit with curfews like Newark. So you know, what I mean, everybody, man, fucking keep your distance.
like
Please
we
wash
lit-
your hands.
like the entire world had recently reset for us. 9 months ago, the world 11 months, technically 10 months ago, the world reset. We are living in a new form of the world, and we are like, stop taking advantage of it just so you can go and turn up these underground basement parties. You want to bring back old school hip hop? Great. Bring it back when we're fucking safe to actually do it. Nobody needs to fucking die, honestly, at this point, just because you want to turn up with your boys. I'm sorry.
Guys,
Like I'm not
fucking be
sitting
smart.
here to die for you. I don't
Be
give a fuck.
smart about your shit. Yeah, just be smart, man. Be safe. Fucking man, if you know someone who's about to go to this crazy ass party, yo, man, as a friend, it is your job to tell them you out of your mind. You need to stay your ass home. Play some damn video games. Buy that PS5, whatever it
Don't
is.
buy the PS5 because that shit exploded.
PS5 save a life. But yo, on that note,
You know how we do.
y'all already know how I end this show.
How we end this shit.
Right.